What's up guys, DAVECHER here, and today I'm going to be doing a tutorial on the trick LUNAR BACKFLIP, and this trick was suggested by The Green. So here's an example of the trick, LUNAR BACKFLIP. Alright, so there was an example of the trick. So we're continuing on with this LUNAR BACKFLIP theme, as I did inward LUNAR BACKFLIP last week. And with this trick, it doesn't really matter which one you learn first. It doesn't matter if you learn inward LUNAR BACKFLIP or LUNAR BACKFLIP first. For me, they're like pretty much the same difficulty, so it doesn't really matter which you learn first. Before we get into this trick, make sure that you have a relatively good lunar balance kendama, because that's obviously going to help a lot. And other than that, there's not much else you need to know, so let's just get right into this trick. So you're going to pull up to lunar like you would normally pull up to lunar, and from here what you're going to do is, what I do is I kind of tilt it back this way a little bit before I do the flip. This is just a way to get momentum for the flip. So if you look really closely in the slow-mo, when I bend down, it tilts back towards me a little bit, and then from there I do this motion, and that is what makes the kendama do the backflip rotation. So get really comfortable with this rotation. So flipping it the other way, opposite of what you would do for a normal lunar flip. So get really comfortable with that. Don't worry about landing it yet. Get comfortable with this and make sure you're doing them perfectly clean. Make sure they're doing straight flips and that they're not rotating in a barrel roll anyway. So just like that, super clean. Kind of slow and lofty like it was with the inward lunar backflip as well. You want a slow and lofty flip. So get comfortable with those. And once you have this rotation down, you can try to start going for the catch. So the catch is really the hardest part of this trick. It's completely timing based, just like the last tutorial, the inward lunar backflip. So no matter how good your kendama is, no matter how lunar balanced it is, if you just expect it to smack right on without bending your knees at all, it's not going to work. It's just going to bounce off. So what you need to do is, what I do, if you look really closely in the slow-mo, is when I do the flip, I do a really lofty flip so that it gives me time to spot up the big cup. And when the ken is at around this point, that's when I actually kind of make contact with the tama in the big cup. So when it's at this point, I lightly put the tama there and I start scooping. So I kind of let it fall onto the tama as it continues its motion, and this is really just to absorb the impact. So just get comfortable with this, because that's what you're going to be doing when you catch it. It might not be as extreme as this, it might just be a little scoop like that, but really you're absorbing that impact so it doesn't just smack right on there. So the timing is really important. Like I said, it's a lot of practice being able to catch it right here and kind of guide it down, and make sure you bend your knees as well, because if you bend your knees, it's really going to help absorbing that impact. So that's mainly it for the catch of the lunar backflip. That's what I do. I kind of guide it down. I kind of catch it earlier than you usually would. So I kind of scoop it like that. And one thing with this landing that's really hard is you have to make sure that your thumb doesn't touch the ken at all. Because when you do this and you do this scooping motion, lots of times the ken might slip a little bit and it might touch your thumb. So you need to really pay attention to keeping it in that area, keeping it tight onto that tama, and having sticky paint will obviously help with that so it doesn't slip off. But lots of times it will slip, it'll touch your thumb, so it's just lots of practice to work on absorbing the impact, work on the timing, and I'm not perfect at this trick obviously. I'm not even nearly as good as some people, but yeah, that's my main tip for this one, is just catching it slightly early, guiding it down as it completes its motion. Having sticky paint will help so it doesn't slide off, but guiding it down, using your knees to absorb the impact, and then just end it however you want. So that's pretty much it for the lunar backflip. So once again, the main parts of this trick are the lofty flip, so get comfortable with that lofty flip. Make sure it's straight, super clean. The early catch, kind of scooping or guiding the Ken down at the end of its rotation, using your knees at that end of the rotation, and making sure it doesn't slide off and touch your thumb, because if it touches your thumb, that's not legit, it's not clean. So yeah, that's pretty much it for the inward lunar backflip tutorial. Make sure to leave your tutorial suggestions for the next one in the comment section below. And yeah, hopefully it helped. If it did, make sure to leave a like, make sure to subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.
Got all the drugs in the world that you need. We get high to pass time, but bitch, I ain't no fiend. I got money on my mind, I be stacking my green. Shawty sexy like my style, I be dripping.